interesting to me is we will use AI, as we have been, to specifically target tasks that we need or want done in place of ourselves. That's how AI will ultimately unfold.
I think AI is going to open a new chapter of the society, of the world, that people try to understand ourselves better rather than the outside world.
With AI especially, I'm really optimistic, and I think that people who are naysayers and kind of try to drum up these doomsday scenarios are I don't understand it. I think it's really negative, and in some ways I actually think it's pretty irresponsible, because in the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to deliver so many improvements in the quality of our lives.
It is a renaissance. It is a golden age. We are now solving problems with machine learning and artificial intelligence that were, kind of in the realm of science fiction for the last several decades.
AI is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on. I think of it as something more profound than electricity or fire. And anytime you work with technology, you need to learn to harness the benefits and while minimizing the downsides.
We're focusing on autonomous systems. And clearly one purpose of autonomous systems is self-driving cars. There are others. And we sort of see it as the mother of all AI projects.
AI is already helping us basically diagnose diseases better, match up drugs with people depending on what they're sick, so that way they can get treated better. So it's going to help a whole lot of people get treated and get better health care than would have had access to it before. If you look at self-driving cars, they're going to be safer than people driving cars.
I would say a lot of the value that we're getting from machine learning is actually happening, kind of beneath the surface, and it is things like improved search results, improved product recommendations for customers, improved forecasting for inventory management, and literally hundreds of other things beneath the surface.
There's a class of things like game playing or speech recognition or image recognition that the performance levels are phenomenal. If you compare human speech recognition to computer speech recognition, the computer is slightly better, and that's mind-blowing. Certainly we use AI to do drug discovery. These biological systems are very complicated, and so the fact that we have vaccines for TB and HIV coming, that's partly enabled by this rich data, advance in biology, and machine learning.
When I look at Seeing AI, which is an application we just launched for anybody with visual impairment, they can go download this app that uses the latest cutting-edge computer vision technology in our cloud to give anyone the ability to see. And in fact, Angela Mills, who's a colleague of mine, was just telling me about how it's changed her life inside of Microsoft. She can go into our cafeteria, order food using this app with confidence, walk into conference rooms with confidence because she knows she's walking into the right conference room. Or what we've done with our OneNote and Word learning tools. Anyone who has dyslexia can now use AI to be able to read better. The latest release of Windows 10 has this capability called eye gaze, which is something that we learned working with Steve Gleason and the ALS patients, to saying, if all you have is the eye muscle and the gaze, can we help you type?
Yeah, you have to be careful when there's advances. In a sense, we're all better off. If the machines can make all the food and the clothes and none of us have to work, you think, okay, now we have all the freedom. If we want to stand behind the counter and make sandwiches, okay, you can if you want, but there's this other way to make those goods and services. But it will be very disruptive because, say you're mid-career in manufacturing or driving, then it's a disruption. Now, we've had that in a slow way for hundreds of years. We used to all be farmers. Now, very few of us are farmers.
I said it's right to be concerned. Absolutely. You have to worry about it, otherwise you're not going to solve it, right? And it's important to understand tomorrow whether Google is there or not. Artificial intelligence is going to progress. Technology has this nature. It's going to evolve. I think pulling back, history shows pulling back, countries which pull back don't do well with the change. We know that. 20, 30 years ago, you educated yourself and that carried you through for the rest of your life. That is not going to be true for the generation which is being born now. They have to learn continuously over their lives. We know that. So we have to transform how we do education.
Look, I mean, you nailed it. Anything that's repetitive and done, on the back of, technology or, is going to be fundamentally vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I think technology, and in particular AI, can in fact bring more empowerment, more inclusiveness. And at the same time, we should be clear-eyed about displacement, clear-eyed about unintended consequences like any other technology, and work both skilling so that people can find the jobs of the future, create new jobs, and lastly, I think have a set of policy decisions that really help people as they go through this change.
People are already unhappy because a lot of machine learning, artificial intelligence killing a lot of jobs. People start to worry. The background, the education background, if you're not innovative enough, if you're not creative enough, your job will be taken away by a lot of machines.
But the risks are important, and I think the way we solve it is we think ahead, we worry about it, we do things like be upfront, have ethical charters, think about AI safety from day one, be very transparent and open in how we pursue progress there, and figure out global frameworks by which we can engage. Just like Paris Agreement and climate change, using forums like this, I think we bring people together to engage on the hard questions, and I think answers will emerge.
I have exposure to the very most cutting edge AI, and I think people should be really concerned about it. I keep sounding the alarm bell, but until people see robots going down the street killing people, they don't know how to react, because it seems so ethereal. I think we should be really concerned about AI, and I think we should. AI is a rare case where I think we need to be proactive in regulation instead of reactive, because I think by the time we are reactive in AI regulation, it's too late.
Right now we have machine learning algorithms that can solve an incredibly complex problem beyond any human intelligence, but they're essentially complete idiots and 2-year-olds at anything that's not that problem. They're dumb. Mm-hmm. You can give them this enormous data set and they come up with brilliant correlations and insights, but they're not going to plug into Skynet and threaten us anytime soon.
So I'm quite optimistic, and I don't think artificial intelligence is a threat. I don't think artificial intelligence is something terrible, but human beings are smart enough to learn that.